Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Friday. Yes, a little late with the jig, but of course it is always here. It is a Friday. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. I hope that you are well wherever you are today. Indeed, we've had a wonderful week of books and one more to go this week. Thank you indeed. I am glad that you're here. And you know what? A new set to Story Time is coming soon. So keep your eyes open, your ears open, and yes, keep a lookout for Story Time for a few changes coming your way. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I am glad you're here. I'm excited to show you all the new setup. Thank you so much for being here indeed, and welcome. As always, please let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. And of course, if you're here in the Bay or you have people in the Bay, please tell them. If they're here in Oakland, let them know there's an event that is happening with Story Time. So please do join us. That is happening on July 28th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Yes, who says kids can stay up late? Come enjoy this lovely Story Time. Lots of great events and music. Thank you indeed for joining in. And this will be at Fairyland. Yes, right here in Oakland. So please do join us and let others know what's happening. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Glad you're here indeed with us. And of course, we are reading a lovely book coming to you from Orchard Books, an imprint of Scholastic Books. And this one is called If You Miss Me. And this one is from debut illustrator, author Jocelyn Li Langrand. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Please do find out this one at your local library. Find it where you find books. If You Miss Me. It is indeed a lovely book that carries on our theme this week that we've been looking at. And indeed, how do we heal? How do we cope with loss of loved ones? Thank you so much for joining in Story Time and welcome. If you miss me, well, if you missed Story Time over the weekend, please find us in our archives on Facebook as well as YouTube. And of course, storytimewithmrlimada.com, and you'll find the right links to all the wonderful stories that we've read. And indeed, these books are available in your local bookstores, your libraries, so please do look out for them. Of course, Storytime is there for you all the time. And if you have the book at home, grab it from your shelf, read along, and of course, send us those recommendations. Storytime here for you every weekday, and of course, every other day if you need us from the archives. Thank you for joining in Storytime, and glad we're here together indeed. Out here in Oakland today promises to be a little warmer than yesterday. It is going to be hot, so please do get your sunscreen ready. Make sure that you have your hat or something to protect you as you're out there. It'll be a little bit warmer than it has been the past few days, and it is already sunny out today, so enjoy the sun as well. If you're going to the beach, please remember those little things to protect you. Carry your water bottle, hydrate, and yes, as you go along through the day. How is it in your neck of the woods? How is it in your part of town? Thank you indeed for joining in today. Let us see who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy a wonderful, wonderful story. Good morning to you. How are you doing today? Sarah and Nathan and Amanda out in Illinois, where we're getting some much needed rain this weekend. Well, enjoy it. Yes, we do need some rain out here in California too. So please, be safe out there. And of course, as we know, if you're driving out and it hasn't rained in a while, let's remember to slow it down a notch, as the surfaces can be very slippery. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for sharing that weather update where you are. Sarah, Nathan, and Amanda, we love you so much here on Storytime. Thank you for being here, and I'm glad that you're here for this wonderful story again together. Good morning to you, Jeremiah Chiesu. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining in. Jeremiah, where are you joining us from? Who is joining in with you? Let us know. Thank you for being here on Storytime. And indeed, if it's your first time, welcome. And if you've been here before, well, welcome back to Storytime Live. Thank you so much for being here with us. Absolutely appreciate you. Betty Graydon, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining in Storytime. Indeed, absolutely appreciate you. I hope you are well out there in Florida. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime with us. Happy Friday to you. Yes, indeed. Thank you indeed for joining in Storytime today. Good morning out in Seattle. How are you doing, Amanda Waltman, and of course, baby Bia, all snuggled up on the couch, ready for today's story? That sounds like the perfect place to be. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime in Seattle, where it is out and gray. Thank you for joining in, and we're here to lift away some of that gray today. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Oh, am I? Let's see. I hope that others can hear me. Amanda, you're saying you cannot hear us on YouTube. I hope that everything is okay, and I hope that everybody else can audio on, switch on, watching there. All right. Well, thank you. I don't know what's happening to our YouTube. I hope that everything has been corrected so far. Let me just check to make sure that everything is okay. According to my side here, everything seems okay. So I just hope it's a little glitch just on YouTube. And sorry if you're joining us on YouTube and not being able to hear us. Thank you, Amanda, for the update. Definitely appreciate that. And hopefully everybody that is on YouTube, please switch over to Facebook if you can. Thank you so much. Or indeed, I hope that for the recordings later on, we are loud and clear. Thank you indeed. I hope that you're okay. I hope that everybody else is able to hear us though. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, are you on Facebook? Are you on YouTube? Thank you so much for joining in today. Apologies, as you know, with technology, there's always one thing. It's one thing after the other. So we just roll with it. Thank you for being here. Absolutely love it. All right, Amanda, thank you for the update, and I'm glad that you were able to switch over and get that audio going. Thank you indeed. All right, so we'll be getting started with our story for today, and this one is called If You Miss Me. Please, if you're watching on Facebook, let us know if you're getting our the audio, and so we know if we need to work on a few things on this end. Thank you so much for joining in, and welcome. If You Miss Me, this one coming from Jocelyn Li Langrand, and written and illustrated by Jocelyn Li Langrand. And of course, we're reading it with permission of Orchard Books, an imprint of Scholastic Books. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime today. Join me on the other side of this short break as we come back for our story for today. Go, grab your water, grab everything that you need right now, and then we'll be right back for our story. Join me on the other side. Thank you so much for joining in.
I'm Meenal Patel, and I am an artist, designer, and the author and illustrator of Priya Dreams of Marigolds and Masala, and you are watching Storytime with Mr. Lamada.
Welcome back. A very short break indeed, and that was Meenal Patel. And if you've not read Priya Dreams of Marigolds and Masala, I encourage you to check it out. And of course, check Meenal Patel's interview or visit to Storytime here and enjoy the wonderful, calming personality that she is. And of course, Priya Dreams of Marigolds and Masala is just the way you see me now, just the way she presents, and just how calming she is. That is how the book is as well. Just a wonderful book, a wonderful read, a good one to enjoy this weekend. So do check out Priya, Dreams of Marigolds and Masala. But for today, we have a beautiful one coming from author illustrator Jocelyn Li Langrand, and this one is called If You Miss Me. And this one is coming to you from Orchard Books, an imprint of Scholastic Inc. Thank you so much for being here. Are you ready? I hope you can hear me too. I hope you can hear me now, Amanda. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. And we'll get started with our story. And this one is called If You Miss Me. Written and illustrated by Jocelyn Li Langrand. Read with permission and published by Orchard Books, an imprint of Scholastic Inc. of New York. And it says, for the dedication here, to my grandparents and to everyone who is missing someone. We all are missing someone in one way or the other, aren't we? To my grandparents and to everyone who is missing someone. All right, here we go. Charlie loved to dance, and her grandma loved to watch her. Oh, Charlie loved to dance, and her grandma loved to watch her. Do you love to dance? She watched her in class, on the playground, and all through town. Charlie loved to dance, and her grandma loved to watch her. She watched her in class, on the playground, and all through town. Aww. At night, Charlie and Grandma danced under the moonlight. Or, if they were tired, made wishes to the moon about their heart's desire. At night, Charlie and Grandma danced under the moonlight. Or, if they were tired, made wishes to the moon about their heart's desire. When fall came, Charlie moved to the city with her parents. Grandma said, if you miss me, look at the moon. I will do the same. If you miss me, look at the moon. I will do the same. Sometimes Grandma came to the city. Aww. Yeah, lovely times. There she watched Charlie dance with her friends. Charlie's heart always leaped when she saw Grandma in the crowd. Aww. Each time Grandma left, she said, if you miss me, look at the moon. I will do the same. Aww. Charlie's heart always leaped when she saw Grandma in the crowd. If you miss me, look at the moon. I will do the same. Sometimes they talked on the phone. Charlie loved to share every detail of her dances with her grandma, and Grandma wanted to hear them all. Oh. I have a dance recital this summer, said Charlie. Will you come? I will be there, Grandma promised. Oh. I have a dance recital this summer, said Charlie. Will you come? I will be there, Grandma promised. But when winter came, Grandma visited Charlie less and less. It was Charlie's turn to visit during break. I miss you, Grandma. When will you come to see me dance again? Charlie asked. Don't worry, Grandma said. If you miss me, look at the moon. Charlie fished her sentence. I would do the same. Then she asked, why the moon? Because even if we're apart, Grandma said, the same moon shines for both of us. So when I see the moon, I see you. Why the moon, Grandma? Well, the same moon shines for both of us. So when I see the moon, I see you. Not long after that, Grandma passed away. It was the coldest winter Charlie ever remembered. Not long after that, Grandma passed away. It was the coldest winter Charlie ever remembered. It was the hardest one too. Charlie kept making mistakes during practice. Dancing was not the same without Grandma. In truth, nothing was the same without Grandma. And if you've lost a loved one, you know that feeling. It was the hardest one too, the hardest winter. Charlie kept making mistakes during dance practice. Dancing was not the same without Grandma. In truth, nothing was the same without Grandma. But at night, the moon whispered to Charlie. It sounded like, I miss you too. But at night, the moon whispered to Charlie. It sounded like, I miss you too. For the next few weeks, Charlie danced every day after school, preparing with her dance studio for the summer recital. For the next few weeks, Charlie danced every day after school, preparing with her dance studio for the summer recital. It was the biggest show of the year, and Charlie wished to dance her best. The biggest show of the year, and Charlie wished to dance her very best. Soon it was time. Everyone arrived, excited for the big night. Summer show, dancing on the moon. Are you ready? Oh. Everyone except for Charlie, who felt nervous and alone like never before. I feel like I skipped a page. No. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. We've got it. We've got it. Everyone except for Charlie, who felt nervous and alone like never before. She didn't search the crowd for familiar faces this time. Instead, she looked up. Charlie's heart leaped. What is it making Charlie's heart leap? Oh. Suddenly, Charlie understood what Grandma had been telling her all along. Even if she and Grandma were apart, the same moon shined for both of them. Oh. Yes, even if she and Grandma were apart, the same moon shined for both of them. So, when Charlie saw the moon, what do you think happened? So, when Charlie saw the moon, she saw Grandma too. Aww. And that is the end of our story. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And again, apologies if you're not able to hear us on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It has been a lovely week together. Such a pleasure to share these lovely stories here. And of course, indeed, be in community with all of you. And this one is called If You Miss Me, coming to you from Jocelyn Li Langrand and read with permission of Orchard Books, an imprint of Scholastic Inc. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I hope you enjoyed it. And indeed, as we miss our loved ones, as we miss those that have gone before us, I hope that we do find comfort indeed in all the memories that we share, in all the goodness that we've had with them, and indeed be thankful for that. And of course, I am pretty sure they would want us to move on and carry on and being the very best of ourselves. And I hope that indeed we can continue to heal and continue to find those supports and continue to live our lives too. And of course, keep the memories, keep enjoying, keep celebrating those lives that we shared together. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I hope that indeed this weekend is a good one for you. I hope that today is a lovely day for you, whether it is raining out where you are, whether indeed it is gray or indeed it is sunny like out here in Oakland, or indeed whatever the weather is like. I hope that you have a lovely day. I hope indeed that it is one full of hugs, and beautiful laughs, and indeed many books to enjoy. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I am glad that you are here with us today on Storytime. And indeed, you know, death is a part of our lives, and I just want to reiterate that and just talk about the importance of books like this that talk about this really important issue, a heavy issue, but I think we need to be having these conversations, and we need to be to try and understand that this will happen, and if we can talk about it with our little ones, then they can have a little bit of a glean, a little bit of an understanding of this thing that happens, and know that no matter what, they're loved, and it is not their fault, and we just continue to celebrate those memories. Let us build the memories in the time that we have together, and indeed try and enjoy. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime, and always a pleasure to be here with you all. And indeed, if there are any topics, any themes that you'd like hear or see here on Storytime, please send them my way, and we'll definitely work them through and see how we can bring those issues to Storytime and indeed have those conversations here together. Thank you so much for joining in. Glad you were here with us. And Amanda, I hope you were able to get us. Thank you so much. You say, what a sweet book. So I hope indeed that Facebook worked out for you. I am glad that you are here. You were able to join us. And of course, thank you indeed for being here. Good morning to you, Jessica and Ali Amin. Thank you for joining us on Storytime. I hope you're able to catch that story. But remember, if you missed any part of it, you can always catch us too at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We'll be again live here with this same recording will be streaming again at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So please do join us for that one then. And of course, you can always find Storytime in our archives at Storytime Storytime with mrlimada.com on Facebook as well as YouTube, which today seems to have audio problems, but I hope those are resolved very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining in. And out in Vermont, where it is nice and sunny today, thank you so much for joining in. Well, I'm assuming it is nice. It is sunny out in Vermont. Thank you so much for joining us. Chris and Mitchell Adams, and of course, extending our love to Bowden. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Good morning, good morning. Happy Friday to you, and welcome indeed. Thank you for being here. Betty Graydon in Florida, thank you so much for joining in. Happy Friday to you. I am glad you are here with us on Storytime today, sending you love, 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 and indeed hopefully see you again next week for more Storytime. Betty Graydon, a big shout out to you. Thank you for always leaving us a message, even when you watch the recordings. We appreciate you. We love you. We appreciate the support, and indeed we hope that you continue to enjoy the stories here on Storytime, and of course the community here on Storytime. Jeremiah, how are you doing? One more time, Jeremiah Chiesu, thank you so much for joining us. Please let us know next time where you're joining us from and who was joining in with you indeed. And to everybody that was here, Amanda, West, and of course Sarah and Nathan, sending you love. And I hope that you enjoyed this lovely book, and also a beautiful story about dance. I hope that it brought your own good memories of your dance recital, your dance that you had this summer. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Indeed, it has been a pleasure being here together all week and enjoying some beautiful stories. Thank you. Thank you. We hope all our Storytime friends have a wonderful and safe weekend. Well, we hope that you have a wonderful and safe weekend too. They hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Always a pleasure. This community is a part of my heart that is just brightens my day. I look forward to these mornings all the time. It is indeed lovely. And of course, already diving into looking at books for next week. So I hope you're excited for them, bringing in some exciting books, following up with some interviews that will be coming through. So hopefully those happen this coming week. Fingers crossed. We're trying to get those people here to Storytime. They're amazing creators. So I hope that you can enjoy them. But today is Friday. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you have a lovely time, whatever you're doing, whether it is movie night at home, whether it is family game night, whatever that you're doing, whether it is an art night or whatever you do, I hope that you do it to the fullest of enjoyment. And indeed, we hope to see you again next week for more Storytime. This has been Storytime for today. This has been Storytime for this week. Wonderful books that we've had indeed, and I hope that you've enjoyed each and every one of them. It has been quite the lineup that we've had, as always, on Storytime. And we started off with Stuff of Stars, which is a beautiful one indeed. And of course, followed it up. You think it can't get better? Well, it did. If you look up to the sky, Angela Darton. And then we went on The Longest Let's Go Boy. And then, of course, there was If You Miss Me. Yes, indeed. And of course, a special mention too, I must say, I feel like a book that belongs in this category today, in this theme, is Marin and Her Very Bright Star, a story of resiliency from Laurie Meir. This is another beautiful one that I feel like helps us have this conversation of losing loved ones. Yes, indeed, death around us. And what does that mean? How does healing look like? And what can we do? How do we find those supports? How do we get therapy? How do we get help? Indeed, lovely books that we've had here on Storytime, and I hope that you enjoyed them. Happy Friday to you. Eva Beleche, happy Friday. Happy end of summer school. I hope your summer school can begin in earnest today. Thank you so much. And indeed, I hope that you have a lovely, lovely time out here in Oakland. I hope that you're traveling somewhere. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that indeed it is a lovely, lovely summer for you. Thank you so much for all you do. And indeed, I hope that I'm pretty sure all your amazing kids and families appreciate you for all the summer work too. Thank you so much for joining in. Oh, thank you. Favor Lungu, how are you doing today? Uncle Imada, well, thank you so much for joining in. I am glad you're here watching from Zambia. Lamek and Aaron, well, thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I am so grateful that you're here indeed, sending you love all the way out to Zambia. And I know that you're enjoying right now as the Shipolo Polo have been playing at the WAFCON. Yes, Zambia doing us proud at the African Cup of Nations, Women's African Cup of Nations. I indeed absolutely appreciate you all. Thank Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for being here all the way out in Zambia. Lamek and Aaron, you need to tell me where in Zambia you are. Are you in Lusaka? Are you on the Kopala? Or are you somewhere else? Thank you so much for being here with us. Happy Friday indeed to you, Favor, Lungu, Aaron, and of course, Lamek. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. To everybody that is here today, hugs, 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 hugs. And we'll be signing off. Yes, it's coming a new tradition now. We sign off with a little dance, a little jig, and we'll be right back. Well, we'll be back on Monday for more story time. Please do join me then. But of course, end of summer school today, so my summer begins in earnest, just like Eva Beleche. Thank you to all of you for joining in. Let me pump up the volume and we sing along a little bit, and I'll see you on Monday for more story time.
All your dreams come true.
Oh yes, and all the way out in Australia. Thank you so much for joining in. Inatumauluka, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I hope that you have a lovely time out there. I hear there's some heavy-hitting Zambian musicians that are out there. Slapdi, Maki too, and the Omaps. I hope that you get to enjoy their music out there. I hope that you get to see a show or two. Thank you so much for joining in, Inutu. Sending you love, and of course, happy Friday, everybody. Yes, indeed.
Where all your dreams come true. He brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? They just can't wait to be hearing.
Goodbye, friends. I will see you again on Monday for more story time. Much love. Bye-bye.
He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. He brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing.